Up first, we got a whole bunch of election news, right? Because we got to pick up a little bit of what we left off with in Arizona, because yesterday we had a little bit more information come out about that, and as they finished the physical hand recount, right? They got all the ballots, the 2.1 million ballots, all counted and everything. Now they're moving on to the more technical aspects of this. They're taking a look at the voting machines, and what they're finding out so far is that, these voting machines that we used in the previous elections, we're not going to be using them again, because something's a little bit up with them, and I can understand this, right? Even from the outset, okay, we can get different voting machines, the ones that are subpoenaed, that we fought so hard to, keep from the people who need to inspect them for this audit to continue. Yeah, we should probably not be using them again. So yeah, maybe benefit everybody by just, maybe getting some new voting machines that might be good, or maybe, I don't know, just going back to paper ballots, that would be fine. But like we see here, Maricopa County should never have approved the election machines that were subpoenaed in the audit of the county's 2020 election if such an audit review found the machines couldn't be reused. Oh, Arizona Senate President Karen Fann, one of the only good Karens I can think of, said on Tuesday, Fann cited the county's previous audit efforts to push against the county's decision on Monday that election machines subpoenaed as part of the Republican-led state Senate audit will not be reused in future elections over concerns expressed by officials, including a Democratic Secretary of State Katie Hobbs, who's about to lose all of her power, and that's where we left that off to begin with. But this really should have been just a bipartisan thing. Not like how Democrats like to use bipartisan, which is just make the Republicans bend to their will, but no, like a legitimate, hey, there's too many concerns with voting machines, not to be too specific, that we can just very easily avoid by just having regular conventional means of voting, which has served everybody well and continues to serve the rest of the country extremely well by not doing something so fucking patently stupid. Maricopa County hired firms to perform audit after the 2020 election and relied on their logic and accuracy test, LNA test, to declare equipment safe to use and tamper-free, Fann said in a statement. The county can now use those same LNA tests after the Senate audit. If it can't, their LNA tests are invalid, and if the machines can't undergo a forensic audit to verify what happened in the election, then it never should have approved those machines to be used in election in the first place. It seems like pretty sound logic. There are not too many loopholes in that one. Secretary of State Hobbs told county officials in May she would consider decertifying the subpoenaed election equipment if the county moves to reuse the equipment in future elections. She's very stupid. I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure like Cyber Ninjas and Sci-Fi, is that the other one that's in there? There's 4 different firms, and I can't keep all of their names straight, and it doesn't really much matter. But if they're going to be going in there and, forensically auditing them by taking them apart, taking a look at the code and everything, even if they are of good faith, okay, would you really want to be using machines to get put back together? I don't really see that as being the smartest way of going about things, so this all makes sense that they're going to be decommissioned. If the county intends to redeploy the subpoenaed equipment over which the county lost custody and control for use of future Arizona elections, please notify my office as soon as possible so that we may possibly consider decertification proceedings pursuant to, article and subsection. As to the subpoenaed equipment, Hobbs wrote in a letter to officials on May 20th. And then, just to wrap up, the voters of Maricopa County can rest assured that the county will never use equipment that could pose a risk to free and fair elections, county officials announced Monday. Oh, it's unfortunate you couldn't get ahead of that one. Who could have possibly foreseen this happening? Should have had an open line of communication to the likes of Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar, who wrote about the concerns they had with voting machines prior to the 2020 election. Sucks to suck. But speaking of other election news that's going on right now, there's the primaries that are happening, at least the only ones that really matter. This is basically going to decide who's going to be mayor of New York. But the Democratic primary that's happening for the New York mayorship, probably the most significant mayor's race out there right now, there's a bit of a fuck-up. A little bit of a fuck-up. As you can see with the headline, New York's mayoral primary vote count voided after 135,000 ballot discrepancy. 135,000 test ballots were included. This is, something? I don't quite know what to make of this. Okay, if you're going to be testing testing the system that you're going to be using. Why so many? Why so many? I've seen a lot of hot takes out there like, oh, it's so good that the system caught this 135,000 test votes out there. I'm just saying, if this is standard practice, why is this the only time a gigantic discrepancy such as this has been accounted for? Because I couldn't find anything else that's really comparable to this. And considering Eric Adams is right now sort of the people's favorite and the one who's not being endorsed by all of the major publications in New York City, it really gets the old noggin jogging. New York City Board of Elections said on June 29th that 135,000 test ballots were accidentally included in a preliminary tally vote cast in the city's mayoral primary election, leading to the count being voided and drawing the ire of candidates. New York's first attempt at ranked choice voting, RCV, descended into confusion after the election board abruptly removed update vote totals from the website hours after posting them, citing a discrepancy in the numbers. A pretty big discrepancy, and that's one way to put it. We are aware that there are discrepancy in the unofficial RCV round-by-round elimination report, the board said in a statement, noting that it was working with technical staff to identify this discrepancy and asking candidates to have patience while we figured out, fuck! Whoever we voted for and we wanted to endorse, fuck, we couldn't get away with this kind of action again. God damn it. God damn it. I'm not saying it's malicious, but you know how this kind of stuff tends to go. When the cast vote records were extracted for the first pull of RCV results, it included both test and election night results, producing approximately 135,000 additional records. Fucking what? I don't even know how you'd explain using that many test votes and not clearing your cache beforehand. We'll have to see, I guess, even if they bother to explain away this gigantic discrepancy. New York's primary election was held a week ago when preliminary results showed Eric Adams, the Brooklyn borough president, with a 10-point lead. The preliminary advantage appeared to shrink to 2 points on June 29th when our voters' second, third, fourth, and fifth choices were factored in under the ranked choice voting system being used in the first time for the mayoral contest. Interesting. Very, very interesting. This guy, all of their polls, okay? When we get actual polls out there by these stupid polling firms, when they're specifically looking at Democrats or a vast majority of Democratic candidates, their polling tends to be pretty spot on because their practices, if you take a look at them, tend to oversample Democrats. So when they're asked to specifically poll Democrats, they're normally pretty good. So the fact that he was a 10-point favorite and then on voting day, he was only a 2-point favorite, some heads were starting to get scratched. But after the votes were released, reporters and campaign staffers noticed that there were around 135,000 more votes counted than had been reported on election night. Where have we heard that before? Oh, I guess there's nothing to see here. With Adams releasing a statement calling on the Board of Elections to explain such a massive increase, which raised some serious questions. And yeah, no more real explanation, but this is also an ongoing situation. So then we got a statement from Eric Adams himself, and what is he going to be doing? Well, he files a lawsuit to ensure fair election process after New York City Board voting counting error. Imagine. This lawsuit might actually have some legs underneath of it because it is at least a Democrat filing it, so we'll see where this one goes. What is he asking for? New York City mayoral candidate Eric Adams' campaign filed a lawsuit Wednesday after the city's Board of Election released an inaccurate vote tally for the Democratic primary. Today we petitioned the court to preserve our right to a fair election process and to have a judge oversee and review ballots if necessary. I wonder if this will equally fall on deaf ears, because we know that the justice system is totally just, fair, and bipartisan, and that's not acting as another arm of the political power structure right now is it? His campaign said in a statement, "We are notifying the other campaigns of a lawsuit through personal service as required by law because they are interested parties." I'm sure that if the court doesn't want to deal with it, they'll just go standing mootness or something like that. Yeah, it'll be mootness because the ballot was already cast and they found all the test ballots that were there. Adams, the Brooklyn borough president, called on other campaigns to join us and petition the courts as well Oh, as we all seek a clear and trusted conclusion to this election. Boy, howdy, don't we? Now, we took a look at Eric Adams and his lack of policies. He seems like the most centrist of these Democratic challengers right now. So Godspeed to him. The second most prevalent candidate in this is significantly farther behind him, Catherine Garcia. She used to look at the trash, and considering New York's current state, she's not really doing that good of a job, or maybe she's kind of just accustomed to being around a whole bunch of garbage, so maybe she'd be a good choice. But no, Eric Adams, former police officer and Brooklyn borough president. Yeah, and Brooklyn's one of the few boroughs that have actually gotten better in recent years, as opposed to the entire city, which has just kind of fallen off an entire cliff when it comes to, I don't know, any sort of economic standard. Brooklyn's done fairly well. They've had the rejuvenation that the rest of that city desperately needs, so he could be a good choice for mayor, and it's, yeah, most likely going to be him anyways. You just got to keep your eye on different election irregularities, and because this one is a Democrat, I don't really have any fear that talking about this stuff is going to get this video removed. So with that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Catch y'all later.